I'm Nasis and welcome back to my channel. Today I have also a Nigerian YouTuber based here in Enugu, and he is part of the LGBTQ community here in Nigeria. I have with me here Victor.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You know, the last time that we met online was last March.
Yeah.
March this year. So how many months already?
Almost 8.
Yeah, actually we were like trying to set an appointment.
Actually, yeah.
for this one, but
things have been coming up.
Yes.
But I'm really glad to be here.
Me too. Well, actually, the reason why I decided to guest him to my channel, because you know, Philippines, we are very open with the LGBTQ, and we have a very big community of LGBTQ in my country. I am just curious, and I know a lot of my subscribers, especially those ones in the Philippines, they are very curious how a gay can live in this country. I mean, with this type of cultures, your tradition, and your government that you have. Is it hard?
It's pretty much hard. So, for introduction, I'm Victor Emmanuel. I'm actually an LGBTQ plus rights activist here in Nigeria. Apart from YouTube that I do, I have experienced firsthand dehumanization of the LGBTQ plus community. I'm actually gay. I'm a part of the community. It's really crazy here in Nigeria. Like, it's against the law. It's against almost every religion that we practice. It's against African values. Even citizens do not want to associate with queer people. It's really hard. But why I live the way I do and why I exist in the open, why I'm out there, is because I have just come to realize that I wouldn't let people define my life. I wouldn't let people who do not understand me define who I am. And actually, I would even go out of my way to educate in places where I can educate, and take up spaces in places where I can take up spaces, because that is very important. I'm a human being just like every other person out there, and it's important that I represent my community, I represent myself, and I'm included in spaces where it is deemed inappropriate for me to be included, because I have rights as a citizen of this country. I have privileges that are constantly being infringed upon. I just feel it's my duty to stand my ground and just decide to exist as a full-fledged citizen of the country.
Way back 2015, there is a gay beauty contest in the Philippines, and they go international. They call it Super Serena Worldwide. A lot of gays from, these are transgenders, okay, from other countries went to Philippines to join, and it was showed in the national TV. So a lot of people were watching, and Miss Nigeria, her name, if I'm not mistaken, is Miss Sahara. She's actually a transgender from Nigeria, but she goes to UK because she can practice it here. So she won the contest. But what really outraged the Filipino community was when she says in her interview that here in Nigeria, there's an anti-gay law. She says that if you're practicing gay here in Nigeria, or you are a gay here in Nigeria, you will be in prison for 14 years. Is that true?
Absolutely true. That is called the SSNPA law. That is the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act, and the provisions of this law is criminalization for 10 to 14 years for everyone who practices homosexuality and every other forms of that, every other derivations of that. That law was created in 2015 when a then sitting president was trying to hold on to power.
That is Jonathan.
That is Goodluck Jonathan. He was trying to hold on to power, and he was trying to give the Nigerian public, which has been known for years to be homophobic, he was trying to give them something, like dangle something in front of them, which still did not work. But what happened was that law was enacted, that law was passed, and today our total existence is absolutely criminalized. It is outrageous because the state, the government, should not be concerned between what happens within families, except there is hurt involved, except there is violence involved. You know, they should not be concerned with what two people are doing in their bedroom, or what two people decide to do with their lives, or who someone decides to spend the rest of their life with or to fall in love with. That law actually, the provisions of that law says that one of them is that if you ever try to get married to the same sex, you're eligible for that penalty. Or if you attend a wedding of two, same gender, you're also eligible for that penalty. Or if you attend a gay club
or
any organization, or if you start one, an NGO or a club or anything, you're also eligible for that penalty. And this is just outrageous because we have needs as queer people, and being queer is literally just an identity. It's not something that should even be made so much of a big deal about. It is literally an identity as being a heterosexual person. Now, apart from that identity, we have needs. We have health needs, we have socioeconomic needs, we have several needs. When you say that we are going to be criminalized if someone because there's need for health NGOs that cater to our needs as well, because you can't just walk into a regular hospital identifying as queer and get the help you need. If you say that these NGOs cannot exist or should not exist, that is you taking away our right to health.
So they can discriminate you.
Yes.
Once you go to the hospital and you have
if
a medical need.
Exactly.
If you're open.
Because, okay, let's assume you want to do STD tests or HIV tests. They ask you about your partner. You get, if you open up and you're like, I'm with the same gender, they would not attend to you. Even if it's just a test you want to, even if you just want to run, a test, which everyone is advised to do.
Yes.
To, if you have multiple sexual partners or if you're sexually active. Discrimination in every sector, even schools. People have been kicked out of their schools for coming out.
How about jobs?
Jobs too. Like, there's this thing that happens in Nigeria. Some people claim or pretend that they are queer and blackmail you. When you come to them, in some cases kidnap you. Like in my case, I was kidnapped for 2 days. They took my phone, they went through my contact, and were asking people for money for ransom, and they were threatening to out me without already realizing that I'm already out. Now, if it's someone who is not out, what happens is that they call your parents or your family and tell them that you are gay. I know the repercussion of that in the Nigerian society.
Yes.
They call your job, or if you're a student, they call your school. I don't know if you remember, early last year, or was it the end of homophobia trend in Nigeria? Okay, early in March. I think that was when we met, in March.
Yeah, in March.
Yeah, campaign started because a gay person was killed by two people.
Which state?
That was in Anambra State, Oka.
Okay, in Oka.
A gay man was killed by two people who had pretended to be gay and then invited him over and set him up. And probably because they weren't able to get anything from him, he was killed. Like in my case, like before they released me, I think I had to raise almost 350,000
just to release
in naira. So you see, all of these things are the things we have to go through, and these people you can't go to the police to report this because their actions are backed by the law. Now, the law doesn't necessarily say that they should do those things, but because the law says that we should not even exist as queer people, or we should not identify, we can't walk up to a police station and report cases of assault, robbery, kidnapping, or even sexual assault. We would not be taken seriously. So these are the effects of this SSNPA law. Like it harms us physically, it harms us emotionally, financially, socioeconomically, even health-wise, different areas. It seeps into different areas of our lives.
But if you're walking outside and you see a police, are you getting scared?
Definitely. During the NSAS protests,
my God,
as queer people, we were also protesting police brutality, because sometimes they go through our phones, like how Nigerian police was then. Like if they will see using an iPhone or just a regular phone, they go through your phone. So we have a dating app, just like Tinder. We have a dating app. It's called Grindr. So when they go to our phones and see that app, they already know about it. So when they see that app, they extort you.
They will use that opportunity.
They will threaten to arrest you, jail you, and if you don't want that to happen, they extort you of huge amounts of money.
Oh my God, that is too much.
It's literally crazy.
Here. But you can still go out. You're open, right?
Yeah.
You're open, and you can still walk around freely with your other gay friends. For you, it's not really safe.
It's not. But I've come to compare it, like, what is the cost of hiding? A lot of us are.
There is a lot.
The cost, like, your mental health is constantly in the gutter. Your mental health, before I came out, I know I was suicidal. Before I came out to my family, I was having suicidal thoughts. I had just even lost my mom. So I was dealing with my mom's loss. I was dealing with so many things. Constantly living a double life. Inside of your room, you are free. With your family, you're not. It's exhausting. So that is why I made the choice that, irrespective of all of the limitations, okay, so because the SSNPA law was made in a hurry, I told you because Goodluck was trying to hold on to power. There's a loophole in the law, which is I cannot be arrested for looking gay. I have to be caught in the act.
Yeah, that's what I read, because I was like, okay, because there was a time we were in one government office. We saw one gay. Okay, he didn't tell me that he's gay, but I know, from the way he looks and the way he walk and everything. So I was like, why did they're not arresting him? Because that's what we know before, that once you're a gay, you will be automatically, you can be automatically arrested. But when I read the law, it says there that you can only be arrested if you are practicing the same-sex marriage. If you are doing, we call PDA, the public display of affection with your
partner,
with your partner, same sex with you, or if you join the organizations or the clubs, those homosexual or gay clubs. So that's what I read. So I was like, okay, so it doesn't mean that you're out as a gay, you just go out from your house, they cannot arrest you.
But most people do not know that, and that is what the police use. You understand? People just think that law means once you exist as a gay person, you're
automatically.
And that's what the police do, because I've been stopped a lot by the police, and they really cannot arrest me. And I'm really careful, because sometimes when they realize that they cannot arrest you, they plant stuff on you. They could plant drugs on you, they could plant something just to have something to hold you by, and then blackmail you and then extort you. I'm really, really careful. I know my rights. I know that they cannot arrest me.
It's
for
good to know the law.
But most of my community members do not know this. A lot of us are uneducated, or even those that are educated are not educated as related to that law. And that is why, even though those organizations are criminalized, they still exist. There are a lot of queer NGOs on the ground, but they don't brand themselves as queer NGOs. They brand themselves mostly as health NGOs. So they're like, we give free health consultations to anybody. But like within the NGO, we know like what really goes on there, because you can't just leave us like that. You can't just allow us to keep existing without having people who care for us. Even when I go for my regular testing, there are places, even here in Enugu, there are places like that. There are even queer clubs, actually, if you But most of these things actually happen on that ground because of the law, and because and why I do what I do, because I said earlier that I'm actually an activist. Earlier in the year, I protested at the National Assembly in Abuja. So that is why I do what I do, because I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that we have to exist as subhuman, as people who are not worthy of rights and privileges. Do you understand? So that is basically why I do what I do.
Okay. So, but do you believe, it was ex-President Goodluck Jonathan who passed the law, but do you believe that one of the reasons why he didn't win the election because of this law, because Barack Obama, he was the president at the time of USA. Barack Obama, he agreed with the same-sex marriage in USA, and because of that one, they says that is one of the reasons why Goodluck Jonathan didn't win. He didn't sign.
One thing about the US and most of the Western countries is when they are benefiting something from a country, the US largely benefits from the fact that Nigeria is still a developing country. The US is imperialistic. All of those things are just things we see on TV, like Barack Obama publicly distancing himself from that action by Goodluck, but they still support these governments irrespective, because they still gain a lot from the government. They gain our energy. We still rely hugely on petroleum as energy, because the US wants, most of these Western countries want it that way. They don't want us to be competitive. Obviously, Barack Obama is pro-LGBT. good luck lost for a whole lot of reasons.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go for this LGBTQ. We all know the meaning, right? LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. So which one are you?
I'm the G there, gay, but like I'm also queer.
Okay.
Now queer is an umbrella term. You understand? So queer originally means something that is like not the usual, something that is strange, and it was used as a slur before. It was used as a slur to anyone who wasn't a heterosexual. So we reclaimed that slur. We decided that, and that is why my channel's name is also for fuck's sake, because the word is also a slur. So I am reclaiming it, that you can't use it to insult me, because it's not really an insult. Like, it's you're calling me like what I literally am. So I don't think it's really an insult. So I'm reclaiming that word. So that is what the word queer. That was how we reclaimed the word. So queer is an umbrella term for everyone who is not a heterosexual. So because it means like not the usual. You understand?
Yeah, that is another thing that I really want to ask you, because when I checked your channel, I saw the title for fuck's sake. Well, it's a short term for which they usually use as a
slur, an insult.
A slur is an offensive term for homosexual. So I was like, why is he calling his channel for fuck's sake?
Yeah.
Because some people, if you call them,
they take
my God, they will.
And they rightly should. They rightly should. For I advocate for my community, especially my part of the community, which is I advocate for everyone. It doesn't hurt me anymore if anyone calls me that, because it really doesn't hurt me, even though you shouldn't. And I think even that part of that video, every part we've mentioned the word, have to bleep it out. If not, YouTube could like take offense to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to like the two sounds. So
so I will edit that one.
Yeah.
I saw your vlog. Like, I think this was happened a month ago.
Yeah.
This is your coming out story to your father, because the first one was with your siblings. But when I watched that one, I mean, when you told your siblings that you are gay, you just left the house.
Yeah, I did.
And it seems like it's not that hard.
Yeah.
You just left the house and live the life that you want. But this one, the time that your father knew about it, I was like, Jesus Christ. So he knew it because you were advocating, and you were in the television.
Yeah.
You were in the newspaper.
Well.
Okay, so not only your father knew about it, your community.
Yeah, it was really hard, because first when I came out to my siblings, I wanted to give them a time to process. I wanted to give them, I'll be going back home like this end of the year, December. I'll be going back to Lagos, because that's where my entire family are. I'll be going back home, but I wanted to give them time to process, because when I came out, they didn't necessarily hate me. It was something that was surprising to them. So why I left was because I wanted them to be processing, because if I was there after coming out, they might have said hurtful things to me, which they didn't necessarily mean, out of the shock, out of the surprise. So I just left so that I wasn't in that space at the time. We still speak on phone periodically, although I try to give them a distance a lot. But in my dad's case, so he wasn't with them when I came out. Like, he wasn't there in Lagos when I came out, and my mom is already late. He's been asking me to come around, and I know that he had heard from like my siblings, even before the whole popularity, even before on social media and TV. No, I told my siblings that they can tell him. You get, so it wasn't like I was hiding it from him, but we hadn't had like a conversation about it. You understand? But he's been insistent that I come over to the village. I should come and see him, that it's been long we saw, and I knew that conversation was at some point going to come up, but I didn't think that he had not really accepted it, because if you listen to that video very well, he was like, I'm giving you one night to think about it again.
Yes.
You understand? So I didn't know that he had not like accepted. I think in his mind he felt probably with the threat of disowning me that I would change my mind. But the thing that people need to realize is this is a very hard lifestyle. Inco is not just like my lifestyle. Like, it's not just everything about me. I'm also a social media strategist. I'm also a digital strategist. The interview I came out from was to be executive assistant / comms communication manager for a particular brand. There's a lot to me apart from being queer. I felt my dad was thinking I chose this, and it was something that with his threats I could unchoose, but I could decide to it's not something I can just wake up and choose. I can choose to pretend to change. Some people have come out, and then because of what they saw after coming out, like the reaction from people, they like that they've been delivered. You know, some parents take their children to church for exorcism and deliverance.
Exorcism.
Those things, because they feel like, some parents feel it's a demon or something like that.
Okay.
So those kids, because of the fear of probably their parents, or like, okay, maybe their parents said, I'm not sending you to school again, I won't do this shit for you anymore, they now lie that they have changed.
Okay.
But it's always there.
They will say that they has been delivered.
Yeah. And do you know that there are actually married people in heterosexual marriages who are queer? You know, when we have like all these underground parties I tell you about, the clubbing and everything, there are married men who come. So like, you can actually pretend to be a heterosexual, but it is always in there. But because they could not come out, so it's not something that really can go away. It's just something you can mask if you decide that. But I just decided that I don't want to live that life, because it isn't fair to any woman to get married and not actually love them. It's not fair to any woman.
It seems like they're just using that woman to cover up everything.
Even women do it, like lesbians. They also get married to straight men, and those men never know. Because this law was enacted in 2015, but before this particular law, there are actually several laws criminalizing this thing. There are state laws in the northern part of Nigeria. You cannot even think of it.
Sharia law.
Yeah, there is a Sharia law. There are several sections of the law that talks about unnatural existence, which is what they term as like unnatural. People, because of this law, have been hiding for years. So it's not something that anyone can change from. You can mask it if you feel like the pressure is getting to you. You can mask it. You get, at some point in your life, like 25, 30, people start asking you, are you going to get married? Why are you not married yet? Some people just decide, okay, I'll give in to that pressure and just get married to the opposite gender, but they don't really love them.
Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah.
But when I was watching your video with your father, I was like, your father was speaking English.
Yeah.
Right? And then he was so composed.
Yeah.
And he was calm, and because of that tone, the more it makes me feel like I'm getting scared. I don't know what's next, But if you will ask me, in the Philippines, if there is a gay who comes out and talk to their father, the next thing they will be crying. Or sometimes the father will become wild. Violent. So the next thing they will be crying, but I never seen tears in your eyes.
Well, it's because if all of that conversation happened when, like, earlier this year, when I just came out to my siblings, I may have been emotional, but because I've been staying on my own for almost a year now, I've been like living on my own. I've faced the world, like at least for 1 year. I've foot my bills. I've because all of those tears and all of those comes from the heartbreak. Oh, my father doesn't love me anymore. Oh, he doesn't want to pay my bills anymore. Oh, he doesn't want to care for me anymore. But I've been hustling on my own. I've taken up jobs, and I'm already done with school. I was done with school this year.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a huge blow. So probably on my own part, that was why I was not emotional. But on his own part, it is his personality, because he was like in the force. I told you he worked with customs, and like he was like boots on the ground. So my father's personality has always been like a calm person.
Okay.
And although he was not happy with me, but he's not a violent man. He has never been a violent man. Ever all through my life, he has never been a violent man.
Okay.
So because those people that react that way, it's their personality.
Yes. So there was a part of your conversation of your father that your father asked you, so you're still a gay, and you says yes, and then you says that's how you've always been. So is there any time of your life that you realize and you confirm that yes, I am a gay?
Yeah, it's literally like every other person like you. And the first time you ever had a crush, maybe not even love, maybe the first time you ever had a crush on a boy as a kid, that particular point was also the particular point I realized I had a crush on a boy. So, but then I did not understand it. I wasn't educated enough, like I wasn't at the point of my education to even know the word for it. But I just know that I was having this attraction to another boy. I was a kid, I think in my pre-teens, before I even became a teenager, just like every other.
Okay.
Do you understand?
When I was still small, I have we call it kababata. I have a friend. He's my neighbor, and we were born in the same year, so we were really mate. Okay, from the time we were small, we already know that he's a gay. As in, we know. At first, he tried to hide it. Okay. But later on, he can't hide it because in the Philippines, it's easier to be out. It's easier because there's no day in your life, especially if you're in the city in Manila. There's no day in your life that you will not encounter any gay, lesbian, homosexual, transgender. As in, you will see them every day. That's why we are open about it. We also have gay politicians in the country, in the Congress. When I watch your video with your father, when your father says that I can do without you and you will not be the first in my family, I was like, you know the feeling of watching a movie, a dramatic movie. You will be feeling it's something like that. So
I know what is gay.
It's just how I've always been, Daddy. It's just that I did not tell anybody. That's how I've always been.
So you are still there?
Sir?
Are you still?
Yes.
Are you still gay?
Yes.
Well, my family does not accept that. And I can do without you, the family. Since you can now boldly tell me that you are comfortable with gay, my family do not accept that. And if you want to go that way, I will ask you to go your way. If you like, change your name. You are free. Not accepted in my place. And I cannot be the first person to get my family involved in it. You have to denounce it completely. Otherwise, I have nothing to do with you anymore. It's not a matter of choice. This is my stand about my family.
After that, your conversation with your father, you left, right? You left, and he even told you that if he will die,
I shouldn't come.
You should not come. So I think that is very heartbreaking.
It is.
Right? So after that one, how did you console yourself? Did you go to your friends or social media?
No, I enjoy my company a lot. I enjoy my personal company a lot. And I'm also in therapy.
Okay,
yeah,
in therapy.
I'm in therapy, although like it's virtual. It's not like physical. So but like I've come to love myself to the point where I felt like that rejection wasn't going to exactly define me. It didn't mean that like I just understood that this man, this is how he was brought up. Most of us were brought up, even myself, before I came to accept myself, there was a lot of internal battles. I prayed so much about it, like, God, take this away, I don't want to be this way. I was raised a Christian. I hated myself for a long time, you understand, because that was what I was taught to feel towards my kind.
Okay,
you understand?
Yeah.
So that's why I understood where he was coming from. Like, a lot of people who say they support people like us might not support when it's their own child.
It's true.
When it comes closer to home, you realize how magnanimous it is, like the magnitude of, because sometimes you even fear for the child, like, how is your life going to be?
Yes,
how are you going to navigate this very, very hateful world? So I just felt that was his initial. Even in the next couple of years, he still holds on to that. That is absolutely fine. There are people who never even knew their father from childhood.
Yes.
I appreciate everything he's done for me. I appreciate every of the love and care he's given to me. But if this is the point where our paths, like where we depart, like that's not necessarily okay with me, but I think I can live with that. It would always hurt, but I wouldn't maybe end my life or pretend or wear a mask that I'm now straight, I'm not heterosexual, just to give my father what he wants. I don't think that is fair to me.
Okay. So, but are you still hoping? Because you see Bob Risky, right? I think I need to address her as she because she's a transgender woman. And there was a time she went to the, I think, birthday party of her father. But she removed,
had to dress.
Yeah, she dressed like a man. She removed her wig, her makeup. Are you hoping that, time comes that he will call you and...
Of course. It was always be something I would hope that someday he would accept me. And I don't know how it's like literally going to be. What happened? I actually have a nose ring. Because I'm meeting you guys for like the first time. I don't know like how you guys react to that. You know, I know your husband is Nigerian, so I had to like, it's inside my nose at the moment, because that's how, like, even when if you're in the corporate world and you have a nose piercing, you can flip it into your nose. It's currently in there, so I had to flip it because I didn't know the reaction, like, you get.
Okay.
So like that was what happened with Bobrisky. Like, he didn't know how his family would react to that, or how even maybe his family would react well, but the other guests at that party, would they, knowing him as the son, that is another hard part of this life. Like, you constantly have to like be thinking of your safety. You constantly have to be putting other people's needs into consideration, even when they are not necessarily putting yours into consideration. So if one day my dad calls me and he's like, okay, I accept you, you're part of the family, that would be good and fine, but I wouldn't necessarily change for that to happen.
So you said that you chose yourself, right? So since you choose yourself, what is your plan now?
Okay, I intend to pursue my goals. I didn't study a course in the university that I am in love with. You know, that is another thing with Nigerian households. Like, your parents almost literally choose the course you study, you know, for their own gain. I went into the medical line because I thought that was what I wanted, but I didn't really realize that was what my parents were like. You know, sometimes because they couldn't achieve those things in life, they project it on their kids.
Okay.
You get, so like in Nigeria now, if you in Nigeria now, if what most parents want is either their child is a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer, you know, all these blue white collar jobs. You get, but that is not necessarily me. Like, when I look at my future, I don't see myself in a lab coat and with stethoscopes around my neck. Although I studied human anatomy in the university, I finished, but like right now, what I am most passionate about is the activism I do. I want every Nigerian to understand that we are not harmful people, we are not hurtful people. We just exist like everyone else, and we just want the same opportunities. We want the same opportunities too. We want, if we go to an interview looking like this, we are accepted in, you know, sometimes you go to an interview and they say a slight hint. You might not even do anything I do, maybe, but you know, like some of us have certain mannerisms.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
So it just see that you might even go for the interview, they'll ask you the questions, but they don't even consider you. You know, that is why the work and it is not just me. There are a lot of activists like me here in Nigeria. There's BC Alimi, creating these messages, putting this thing out there for everyone to see. What I do on my channel, basically, where I live my life, I live my life on my especially on my channel, because I want people to see that I don't have like horns. You get, I am literally just like every other person. The only difference is that I am sexually attracted to the same gender.
Okay, but you know, I notice now in YouTube here in Nigeria, mostly in Lagos, there's a lot of YouTube channels that it's about lesbians, gays,
mostly lesbians,
partners, mostly lesbians. Partners. And when I was watching them, I was like, okay, so how can they do this in Lagos?
You know, it's also very risky. Very risky. Because if someone from your channel like recognizes you and the person is homophobic, like I've had a lot of people harass me because they recognize me either from Twitter, because I'm very much popular on Twitter than I am on YouTube. I have almost 15k followers on Twitter.
But they removed Twitter, right? Here in Nigeria.
We use VPN. You can use VPN to access Twitter.
Access it.
So a lot of people like might know me from Twitter. And from that, my protest that went really viral. So sometimes that's why I don't take public transportation anymore, because sometimes people are like, you're that bad boy, Abby, and they want to beat you up for just no reason.
Okay. Because they just recognize you.
Literally.
And they know that
and
you're
because
gay.
of that hate in their hearts. And I have literally not done anything to this person. You get, I have literally, like the people that abducted me almost 2 weeks ago, what did I do to deserve that? You know, they kept emphasizing, so you have sex with another man. How is that any of your business? And how does it affect you as a human being? And because of that, you feel like it is okay to take my phone. I was using an iPhone 7 at the time. They took the iPhone 7 Plus. They took my ring light. They took my tripod. They took my microphone.
Everything.
I traveled with the box. They took the box. I traveled with 3 pairs of shoes. This shoe is a friend of mine that his mom sent it to me. I don't know, there's like black scars on 2 sides of my face. Those are bruises that has healed up.
Okay.
There were about 7 of them.
7?
Yes. I'm not kidding. They beat me up.
So what's the gain of hitting you?
You know, in Nigeria, we are so oppressed in Nigeria. The government is oppressing us. Everyone. So most Nigerians are looking for someone else to oppress. That is the mentality of Nigerians. Like, they're looking for someone else. Like, they're tired of being the ones on the receiving end. We queer people, we join the NSAS protest, right? But the day we ever decide to like have a pride march or a protest, you see a lot of Nigerians will not support. Even though they've seen oppression from the government, they still don't believe that we deserve rights. So that is literally like, they just want to feel that power.
Okay.
They just want to feel that power.
To end this interview, I just want to ask you, what is your message to those Nigerian gays who doesn't want to come out from the closet? I mean, they're still hiding there, and they're just wishing to come out of this country so they can
live
practice.
There. I totally understand them. It is absolutely okay. I am out today. My life is even twice as hard as it was when I was in the closet. If you ever decide that you really want to, then that is fine. It is not going to be easy. That is just the truth. I started like footing my bills this year, and it hasn't really been easy, because most people, why they don't come out is because of family security, social security. It's not going to be easy. But if you feel like it is something that you want to do, if you feel like in my case, it was almost a life and death situation, because like the mental trauma I was going through at the time, having to lie, I came out when I was 22, so I had to lie to my family for 22 years. That is never easy on anyone. So if you ever feel like you want to, then you can. It's going to be twice as hard, I can assure you. But if you feel like you would never come out of the closet, it's absolutely okay as well, because I understand. Except this law is repealed, which is what we are fighting for. Except this law is repealed, it's okay to be in the closet. Although it is not okay to, I don't believe that it is okay to get married to the opposite gender and lie. Although, because a lot of marriages, this is the only solution to that, is discuss it prior, and I think one thing we are also thinking of doing is like a gay man and a lesbian woman could like have an arrangement and get married just for the sake of getting married, but they can still have their own affair. But that is okay than getting married to a heterosexual woman who is in love with you, but you're not in love with her. Do you understand the analogy I'm making? So if you ever feel like you really want to remain in the closet, there are a lot of lesbian women who are also getting the pressure that you are getting from their family to get married. Contact them, look for them, and make some sort of arrangement.
In my country, there are some couples, okay? I've seen this on TV, that the man is a gay, the woman is a lesbian, and they have a family, they have children. We also have lots of gays in my country that they have children and they have a wife, and a lot of them are celebrities, and they're doing good, and I think their children understand all those things. If the children, if you ask the children, do you feel shy, or do you want to hide your father because he's a gay? They will answer you that they know that their father is a gay, and they know that their father is trying his best for them. To
Absolutely.
Give them the proper care and attention and everything.
Also, like, that is okay, because one thing with most Nigerian parents, they want grandchildren. A lot of Nigerian families, like, they feel like the bedrock of a family, or after getting married, the next thing is to have kids. So sometimes the pressure to get married is really not about you getting married, really about you providing grandchildren. So if that is the case, you can impregnate a woman. If it's a kid you want, you can either adopt, or you can do surrogacy, or you can actually physically impregnate a woman.
Someone did that to my country.
You see, so like, there are a lot of options if you want to come out, or if you want to be in the closet. Just whatever works for you. I'm not an advocate for you must come out of the closet, because I know the climate, I know the political climate, I know the social climate.
You tested the water.
Yes, I have. And there are people who have, even before me, like, I don't know, BC Alimi, maybe you can research on him. He was the first gay man in the history of Nigeria to come out publicly.
He's a speaker, right?
You know him, BC Alimi. Yes, so he was the very first. So there are a lot of people who have done this years before I did, and he actually looked for asylum in the UK. His life was in immediate danger because he came out on live TV. You understand? he was in an interview because like of his, and you know, people have been asking, are you gay, are you gay, are you gay? And plus he's a public speaker, he's a coach, so he was in an interview and he came out on the interview and it was live. So immediately after the interview, his life was in immediate danger.
So he needs
So
to
just a few
leave.
weeks later, he had to seek asylum and left the country. Although he comes back into the country periodically now. So there are a lot of pros and cons for both being in the closet and being out of the closet. So you just choose what works for you, and you know, go from there.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Victor. Thank you for staying with me under the sun. It's so hot. We're really sweating.
Literally.
Yeah.
I feel pity for you more because how long have you been in the country?
Almost 1 year. But actually,
But we are used to this, right? We are used to Nigerian sun.
Yes,
so.
and our weather is also we have
Okay.
a tropical
Oh, tropical.
weather.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but he knows that I really don't like the sun.
I can imagine.
Yes, but anyway, it's okay. Well, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
guys,
It was-
please don't forget to subscribe and watch him on his
Yeah,
channel
for
for fag's sake. So it's not hard to forget. It's
Or you
very
can just
easy
put,
to remember.
I'll send you a link you can put in your description
Yes,
box.
yes, I will going to put the link on my subscription box. Okay, so thank you very much for staying with us today. And for those LGBTQ community in the Philippines, you see how lucky you are to be in that
Absolutely
country.
lucky.
You know, so thank you very much, and I hope to see you again on my next video.
Yeah.
So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Bye.
Bye.